Yeah. Oh, it stopped now. Look, now put my camera on.
This one, Mia. This. This thing. Wave to the man. Wave, Mia. Say hi. Good girl. Oh, he waved and then he looked away. Oh, I said it.
Yeah, he's lucky and he's in charge of that.
Where are we going? Yeah.
It's us.
Hey!
Too excited.
Let's go. Somebody's waving.
Oh.
Yay, this is.
It's what she don't.
God.
Are you flying?
Good girl.
Oh, is this gonna be this slow?
Ain't been before? Sorry.
And why did we have to just wait?
When you go in that tunnel, you drop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big splash at it.
Yeah. Like Legolas.
We're actually set for a collision course with that one.
Careful, don't fall.
Dad's got you, isn't
We'll start up with a jerk in a minute.
Yeah, just watch you don't fall.
What? Sit down then.
Checking that mummy's still there.
With bouncer and a complete wagon behind it. This complete setup was built by Clive and Alistair Cook from Cheveley over in Cambridgeshire there. They were the winner of last year's event, which is probably quite obvious if you look at them. It's a beautiful little setup. A lot of very, very hard work has gone into this, and they've received an awful lot of admiration from various people at rallies and shows and that sort of thing in the past year. I was told yesterday they were moaning because it was knocking a bit, but I can't even hear a squeak, let alone a knock, so we'll forget that one. Called Hilda June, and a beautiful engine indeed, absolutely beautiful. Next is a 3-inch scale Burrell traction engine. It was based on the early single-cylinder engine, which was in common use in the 1900s, built and exhibited by the owner, Mr. Peter Nixon, who has come all the way down. We now have a 4-inch, there we are, a much bigger engine, you see, an agricultural engine, agricultural traction engine, called Little Beastie. The model was built in 2006. Number 4 coming into the ring, built by Savages. Now Savages came from King's Lynn, just up the road. They didn't build a vast number of engines, but the engines they did build were the Rolls Royce of the engine department. And this is a Savage Little Samson, I think it's called. Number 5 coming in, a 4-inch scale. This is a Foster agricultural engine, in other words used for agricultural purposes, driving belts, pulling loads, general agricultural work. It was first steamed in 2007, took 2.5 years to build. Now we're going down in scale a bit, a 4-inch scale. Another Savage engine though, as I say, they're quite rare, and somebody's obviously building Savage engines and likes them. A little Samson traction engine, built to drawings by Edward George. Now Edward George is a local school teacher actually from Cambridge, and also a very, very fast... Oh, we've got all these drivers Right, there we go. A 3-inch scale with a load on the back. A McLaren engine. It's a double crank compound engine. It's a road locomotive. Hence the belly tanks underneath the engine to allow it to go a fair mileage along on the roads. They needed the extra water. Obviously there wasn't always water handy. The village pond did come in quite useful, so that could be a great Yarmouth. A 4-inch scale barrel, 8 horsepower, double crank compound road locomotive, another one with the belly tanks under the boiler there. It's got a barrel 6-ton. Next, number 10 coming in. This is a 4-inch scale, although it says freelance, based on a barrel engine, a barrel traction engine. Number 11, a 3-inch barrel engine. This is a 3-inch scale barrel engine, built in 2000, owned by Mr. James Gerald, who comes from Bury St Edmunds down in Suffolk there. Now, as you can see, a little engine like that can pull, and there's another one to come. Quite fantastic.
I come for the garden rail show as well then.
Yeah.
Now, all the way from Bournemouth. Well, he didn't drive it from Bournemouth, I hasten to point out, but he brought it out from Bournemouth. He's one of our regular. A 3-inch scale barrel now, a traction engine named Gene. It was built in 1987, then rebuilt in 2007-2009. Owned by David Scott Williams of Letchworth Garden City over in Hertfordshire. Seen it before somewhere. Right. An engine close to my heart because it's, well, part mine. I don't know which part's mine, the funnel, I think. A 4.5-inch scale barrel traction engine. It was built in 1979, attended many, many shows since then, owned and maintained by myself. A 4-inch scale Foster agricultural traction engine, built in 2006 by Richard Page of Wisbech in Cambridgeshire. Right, number 16 is next. It says here, Runswell, 6-inch steam tractor, built by the gentleman who owns it, Mr. Etheridge, and he built it in 1 year. Now that is pretty good. If I could do all that work in a year. I mean, it doesn't say what else he did that year. Next we have a 4-inch barrel agricultural engine, owned, driven and built by Mr. Brian Catchpole of North Museum. The old workshop is there now and open to the public, and you can get a good idea of the history of the firm as it existed in Thetford. This is a 3-inch scale barrel engine now coming in, number 18. It's called William, or Bill to his friends. Owned by Mr. Kevin Saggers of West. We have a 4-inch scale Foster. Here we are, so getting up in size a bit. We've gone to 4 inches. He started building it in 1994. Then it was acquired by the owner in 2007 and first steamed in 2009. Painted in the winter of 2009 and has been attending rallies ever since. Owned by Mr. D.W. Crampton of Wellington near Peterborough. And apart from one baby's baggie, I think we've finished. Well done, me. Anyway, I'll let the engines get into their places so they're not moving, otherwise I'll have the health and safety.
Within the next year.
It's the music. Dancing, yeah, horsey. Yeah, you can do that horsey thing that they're doing on the...
He's busy looking wrong like Jack.
What do you have to look at your hands for? Yes, you're fine.
Can't change any fingers
Oh
on.
no, you can't fly. It's waving at them all. Yeah, wave to them. Hey!
I'm not Thomas.
Hey, favourite, bro.
Yeah.